was just concluded responding to a question which was posed by Mr. Kalalo Mukosa, Chinsali Member of Parliament. He wanted to establish what measures the government is taking to promote Chipoma Falls in Chinsali district as a tourist site. So when business resumes at 17 hours, the House will continue considering question 239.
Still to come is a private member's motion that will be moved by Mr. Fube of Chulubi constituency. It's titled Allocate 30% of the constituency development fund to sponsor vulnerable students who apply for diploma and degrees courses. That the House urges the government to allocate 30% of the constituency development fund to sponsor vulnerable students who wish to undertake diploma and degree courses.
We do have about 3 bills, and these bills are coming at second stage reading and the report stage. And the first one is the Banking and Financial Services Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2025, coming up at second reading stage.
The other bill that is coming up at report stage this time around is the Agriculture Credits and Warehouse Receipts Bill, National Assembly Bill number 34 of 2025.
Once the quorum is constituted, the business resumes. So the bells have been ordered to ring, and which means that there is no quorum on the floor of the House. And remember, at the time business was suspended, under consideration was question 239, coming from Chinsali Member of Parliament, Mr. Mukoso, directing it to the Minister of Tourism. He wanted to establish what measures the government is taking to promote Chipoma Falls in Chinsali district as a tourist capital. And before that, we were also sharing with you some of the bills that are under consideration on today's order paper.
The report, the Zambia Deposit Insurance Corporation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025, will be considered at report stage, and thereafter we'll have resumption of debate on thanks the President's address. The President was in the House on the 20th of February. He did address the House on the progress made in the application of national values and principles, and so members of Parliament are debating the President's speech.
And so far we've seen quite a number of members of Parliament and some cabinet ministers that have debated the presidential address. So expect more members to debate today. So once the quorum is constituted, we'll be able to cross over to the floor of the House for the resumption of business. And remember, 2 ministerial statements have been considered on the floor of the House. We seem to have a quorum. Now business resumes.
When business was suspended, the House was considering question number 239 on the order paper, asked by the Honourable Member for Chinsali, and the Honourable Member was asking a supplementary question. May the Honourable Member continue?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Minister Tourism, for the response you provided to my question. Honourable Minister, I understood in your response you indicated that your ministry is private sector led. It's a private sector led ministry. Now, the reason why I ask this question is because I know that as the government we have been lamenting on the issue of domestic resource mobilization. So as the government that needs those resources, we are the ones that should put more effort to put investment so that we can start harnessing the gains from that investment. Then we'll be using that money to invest in social programs and other economic programs. So Minister, I would like you to confirm if there are any infrastructure projects that the government plans to fund for Chipoma Falls in Chinsali to enhance its visibility as a tourist attraction site. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I just want to thank the Honorable MP for that follow-up question, very, very timely. Mr. Speaker, in my preamble to answering his question, I did specify that tourism under the UPND is private sector driven. And as such, we have embarked on a very deliberate ploy to actually invite as much private sector to participate in these various heritage sites that we have. Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Member of Parliament may wish to note that our Ministry of Tourism today has identified sites which are investment ready that can easily be obtained in the public domain on MOT website. And also, Mr. Speaker, I just want to indicate, as I stated in my earlier response, the ministry is working on minimal infrastructure development vis-a-vis the road to Chipoma, Visitor Information Center, which has since been worked on, as well as electricity and water. Now, that in itself, Mr. Speaker, will create a conduit for private sector money to go into Chipoma, including his money, to be able to invest in that particular area. Mr. Speaker, I submit.
The Honorable Member of Chinsali.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your response. Honorable Minister, in your initial response, you indicated that government is working to integrate Chipoma Falls in Chinsali into wider tourism circuits that include Nachikufu Caves and Lubwa Mission, thereby positioning Chinsali district as a multi-attraction destination center rather than a single site. Honorable Minister, I wanted to find out from you, by doing this, are you able to provide the specific details on the expected increase in the number of tourists that will be visiting Chinsali or Chipoma Falls as a result of this integration with Nachikufu Caves and Lubwa Mission? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for that other follow-up question. Mr. Speaker, Chipoma Falls falls under our, what we like to call the wider northern circuit that we want to grow. And as such, we are already working on the Lubwa Mission as directed by His Excellency the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. And also, Mr. Speaker, I just want to indicate, I'll use this opportunity to mention that exit 2025, Chipoma Falls received in excess of 1,532 visitors, and we could possibly use that as a benchmark for 2026 exit numbers to actually show that the numbers coming to Chipoma Falls would have actually increased along the way. But the long and short, Mr. Speaker, is that government is indeed not sitting idle. We're working towards seeing how best we could create more investment, or rather we can draw more investment towards Chipoma so that it can benefit not only us as government, but indeed the community that resides around that area. Mr. Speaker, I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery a group of women who are aspiring candidates for Member of Parliament in the forthcoming general elections. Order. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. The women are participants in a high-level women leadership conference taking place at Mulungushi International Conference Center from 4th to 5th March 2026, organized by the Gender Division at Cabinet Office and partners. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome the women in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. Notice of motion, private member's motion, the Honorable Member for Chilubi.
I beg to move that this House urges the government to allocate a percentage of CDF to sponsor vulnerable students for diploma and degree courses.
Is the motion seconded?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Seconded by the Honorable Member for Mfurila. The question is that this House urges the government to allocate 30% of the Constituency Development Fund to sponsor vulnerable students who wish to undertake diploma and degree courses. Any debate? The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity from your office for giving the people of Chilubi this chance to represent this particular segment of vulnerable people. Mr. Speaker, the motion is non-controversial. The motion is heavily supported by the National Development Plan, which talks about the human capacity development. And, Mr. Speaker, I can already hear that the question...
Too many movements in the House. Let's minimize.
The motion is not here for political expediency, and I want to venture into justifying why. Mr. Speaker, 3 statistics are very important in terms of education sector. One of the statistics is enrollment rate. The other one is retention rate. And the last one is progression rate. Mr. Speaker, Zambia has chosen a 2-path approach to education, and that is vocational path and academic path. The money that is targeted under CDF is mainly concentrating, the 20% is mainly concentrating. When I say mainly, Mr. Speaker, I take into consideration that there is also a component of secondary bursaries. It's mainly concentrating on the vocational path, overlooking the academic path. And in terms of human development, Mr. Speaker, government being a dream facilitator, this is against human development. Mr. Speaker, the key words that the Minister of Youth who has just come in Parliament to talk about question needs to understand there is low income, these are key words, low income households, there is also rural communities, and I think it's also defined that this is targeted at the age group between 15 to 35. Mr. Speaker, we are talking about academically qualified young people, especially from those households, who may not manage the costs associated with tertiary education, which go beyond their reach. Mr. Speaker, I am a responsible citizen that do not want to venture into transferring generational poverty for these young people who may not have the stamina to sponsor themselves. Mr. Speaker, I first want to recognize that there is in existence higher education loan and scholarship board that caters for young people from vulnerable households. Having recognized that, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that per year, on average, 21,810 applicants seek those spaces. And Out of that, it's only 12,279 on average that are picked, giving us a percentage of 57% and leaving out 43%. Mr. Speaker, this condemns the young people with 6 points or high-flying colors to undertaking skills courses. This means, Mr. Speaker, that we are swimming against the current. Swimming against the current, Mr. Speaker, what I mean by this is that these young people are gifted differently. And we should not pile one people in one basket. Those who are footballers, let them be footballers. Those who are good at psychomotor skills, let us put them in that particular category by being a dream facilitator. Mr. Speaker, I also want to underscore that in the 2023 CDF, we recorded some underutilization funds ranging to 42% for community projects and many other that needs to be there. Mr. Speaker, this motion seeks to address the mismatch with the national skills need, which should take a multi-sector approach where young people should be in a position to choose to be engineers, where young people should be in a position, are you the speaker? Really? Eh? So, should be in a position to choose to be doctors, should be in a position to choose to be engineers, and many other. Mr. Speaker, I would like to beg that I'm protected from those characters. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, what we are trying to underscore in this motion is that young people should be given the leverage to choose who they want to become in life. That is what it means to venture into what is called life opportunities. Mr. Speaker, the legal basis for this particular motion can be secured in Article 8 of the Constitution, which among other things addresses the national values, among them equity, social justice, sustainable development, which is also linked to the issue of human development. Mr. Speaker, further, Public Finance Management Act number 1 of 2018 talks about prudency and efficiency and accountable expenditure of national resources, and CDF are national resources. Mr. Speaker, this House recently revised and attended to the CDF Act, but maintained the motion has come to seek and knock on the door of the national, the 8th National Development Plan, which among other things identifies education and skills as very important and critical to youth empowerment, and it be the drivers for economic and transformation, and poverty reduction. Mr. Speaker, the motion is supposed to leverage the rate at which the nation should develop by making sure that even those that aspire to follow the academic route can venture into realizing their dream. And government comes in to bridge in the gap as a dream facilitator. Mr. Speaker, for now, I rest my case on this one as I encourage the second of the motion to venture into the rest. I rest my case.
Does the seconder wish to speak now or later?
Now, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Member from Furila.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I also want to thank the mover of this motion, the Honorable Fube of Chilubi, for bringing this very important motion to this House. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, this motion is non-controversial, and it is meant to support our many youths on the streets who are languishing on the streets with very good results. But for want of sponsorship, they are busy on the streets, some of them involving in social vices, with no hope of ever attaining tertiary education. Mr. Speaker, let me just simplify this motion so that we all understand what it is seeking. Mr. Speaker, this motion is simply asking the government that within the Enhanced Constituency Development Fund, we must provide for sponsorship to tertiary education those that are vulnerable but eligible. Currently, the education component under the CDF only allows for secondary school bursaries and vocational training. Those that those that have been accepted to go into university or those that want to do other college education, nursing or teaching and other, are not eligible under the CDF. Therefore, this motion, Mr. Speaker, is requesting the government that we must provide also for those that have a chance to go to university, those that have a chance to train as nurses, those that have a chance to train as teachers, to be catered for within the CDF. The mover of the motion, Mr. Speaker, has given us the history from 2022 to 2025 that under the Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board, the success rate or the sponsorship rate has been 57%. Of those that have been admitted to go into university, only 57% have had the chance to be sponsored via the Higher Education and Loans Scholarship Board. 43%, Mr. Speaker, with very good results, remain on the street. What do? That is why this motion now has come, to allow that those that may not have a chance to get a place under the Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board can still have another chance through the Constituency Development Fund. There are many benefits, Mr. Speaker, having done this. Some of the benefits, let me say, economically, of course, because it will give an opportunity for this country to have more skilled manpower. A lot of young people with very good results are just living at their homes on the streets because they don't have the opportunity. This country is looking for skilled manpower. Now, if we do not open this window through the CDF, we are condemning these young people with potential to contribute to the economic development of this country. We are condemning them to the streets. Also, socially, Mr. Speaker, this is an advantage. Right now, in fact, those that have access through the Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board are those that are in the urban towns. Because in the urban towns, they have access to a lot of social media, they have smartphones, they are able to see even when the adverts are out for application, they are able to have that information as soon as it is released. Young children, the youth in the rural areas, Mr. Speaker, sometimes they get to know about these windows of opportunity under the Loans Board long after even the deadline has expired. Now, this Constituency Development Fund is at a constituency level. Information is disseminated through the ward development committees, through the MPs, through the councillors. So those that may not have the chance to access that information through the normal scholarship board can also have the information disseminated to them through the CDF, therefore giving them an opportunity to have access to this scholarship and the sponsorship. In that way, we are giving equal access, Mr. Speaker. We are giving equal access to those that are in the rural areas to also have a chance to attain higher education. What this motion is seeking, Mr. Speaker, is not strange, not just to this country and, of course, even in the region. I can give an example in Kenya, where they also have the Constituency Development Fund, similar to our model. In fact, Kenya's CDF started in 2003. Ours started in 1995. They came on board late, but they have actually advanced in terms of implementation. In Kenya, through the CDF, one can have a chance to be sponsored to university, one can have a chance to be sponsored to college. It is not restricted as in our case. And therefore, this motion, as I've said, we are seeking to open the window of opportunity so that through the CDF, we can also give an opportunity to these young boys and girls. Mr. Speaker, we have come with this motion not just to present what a problem is, but also to open up an opportunity for how do we fund this. The Constituency Development Fund has got so many components. We would propose, Mr. Speaker, that when we look at the component that goes to empowerment, through empowerment grants, that is an opportunity. We can get a share from there. Mr. Speaker, it is evident that so much money has gone into these empowerment grants to different communities. But today, we read through the Auditor General's report that the impact of these empowerment grants has been very minimal. Poverty continues to strike even those that have a chance to access these empowerment grants. That is why even this year, we have seen that the loan component has been suspended. Why? Because the impact is not being felt. Why don't we have an opportunity to divert some of those funds that are going through CDF to the empowerment grants, divert some of those funds to educate our young boys and girls who have no chance to access the sponsorship through the Higher Education and Scholarship Board. So there is that opportunity. We can vary the component of CDF, especially the empowerment grant, so that we can offer this opportunity. So, Mr. Speaker, with these points, I just want to urge all these honorable members to support this motion. Non-controversial, but very beneficial. Let us help our young boys and girls attain higher education. If they do not have that opportunity through the Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board, let us give them another chance at their doorstep through the Constituency Development Fund. Mr. Speaker, I submit as I encourage everyone to support this motion.
The Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, looking at the motion, it's a very good motion. Allocate 30% of Constituency Development Fund to sponsor vulnerable students who apply for diploma and degree courses. Mr. Speaker, I thought our mover of this motion sits in the council, the CDF committee when they are allocating CDF money. Mr. Speaker, today, as Nyimba, we have students who are pursuing diploma courses in different fields. Yes. So if you come here and say, let's sponsor kids, our young boys and girls to go and pursue diploma courses, when we are sponsoring them at university. Chalimbana, it's a university. We have people at Chalimbana University under CDF. Mr. Speaker, we need to be factual when coming with motions here. Mr. Speaker, this country, we need to ask ourselves, the gap, if you ask an engineer today, any engineer in this country, the gap between the engineer and the assistant is too wide. There is no in-between people here. As a result, we've got shoddy works happening anywhere. Everywhere where you go, you find that there are shoddy works. Here's the reason why. We have trained engineers up there. Have we trained the technologists in between? Have we trained the craftsman in between? Have we trained an artisan in between? So this gap now we are saying, we need to train our kids at these three layers where we are missing personnel. And surely we cannot temper with the CDF to start training degree holders. When we have higher education loans and scholarship board sponsoring kids. What we should be talking about now, Mr. Speaker, is how do we decentralize the loan board? Because surely I agree that those who are benefiting, because mainly are those who are living in the cities. But do we need to...
Order, the Honorable Member for Nyimba. There is a point of order. There is a point of order by the Honorable Member Mfurila or Mpika.
I seek your indulgence. I'm on the second slot to debate the motion. If Mr. Speaker, you allow me to debate, then I can hold on. But
Honorable Member,
Mr. Speaker,
may you take your seat, Honorable Member?
Sorry?
The Honorable Member of Nyimba, the Honorable Member for Nyimba was on the floor of the House.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Debating. Then you indicated. I thought it was a point of order because you rose, you stood. How do you rise? There's someone on the floor who has the floor already. But you're talking about debating. May you proceed with your point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I apologize for the mix-up. Mr. Speaker, I rise on a very serious point of order, pursuant to Standing Order number 71. Mr. Speaker, CDF is executed by guidelines drafted by the government of the Republic of Zambia. And Mr. Speaker, this must be clearly put on record. And under those guidelines, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member, you are debating. State what has been breached.
What the breach, Mr. Speaker, is that the Honorable Member on the floor is insinuating that this motion is talking about what is already happening. When to the contrary, what is happening on CDF, Mr. Speaker, is that only children who pursue courses under TVETA-affiliated courses should access CDF. But is there busy insinuating that every diploma courses, including professional ones, are covered under CDF? That is a misinformation, Mr. Speaker, of the highest order of monumental magnitude, and it must be treated as such. Is in order, Mr. Speaker, therefore, to mislead the nation, this House and himself, who does not understand the guidelines, that you can actually send students to go and do professional courses using CDF. Mr. Speaker, I seek your very serious guidance, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. The Honorable Member for Nyimba, what his points, the way he was raising them, they're in tandem with the motion. He was not precise to state that he was talking about courses that are not being covered by TVETA. So the Honorable Member for Nyimba is not out of order. He's not out of order. He was just trying to, he was giving a better understanding. He went on to give different examples. So may you proceed, Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Mr. Speaker, in my language, tukuti simvaiwera na matuvi kusanga, because if you cannot listen, you need to wait and understand where somebody is trying to, I mean, if somebody is raising up a point, try to wait and understand that point.
Now that language you used is unparliamentary. What did you?
Now we interpreted, Mr. Speaker.
What did you say?
I said this, no, it's a saying, it's not an insult. It's a saying that Simva, or Sambazanza Kanamva Kwanga Irikomoto. So you try to, if you don't listen to your colleagues, you only listen maybe when you are disappointed, like you are going to be disappointed when I finish debating. Because, Mr. Speaker, we need to be truthful here. We have a list of courses which should be pursued by our vulnerable children in our villages. We have agriculture. We have agriculture engineering. Which schools are offering these courses? And if you ask TVETA today, those schools I mentioned, they are affiliated to TVETA. That's the reason why they're being given. Today, Mr. Speaker, we have kids, our children at Northern Technical College. We have children at Lusaka, Chipata Trades. Now, if you ask ourselves, are we training them in skills? These schools, it's now that we have revamped the issue to do with skills training. We turned these colleges into business courses, colleges. And Mr. Speaker, for you to strive to be a marketer, there must be a producer. For you to be an accountant, there must be somebody producing things which are going to be sold by the marketer, and the marketer, the accountant now is going to calculate, to do the accounting of those products that are being produced. Today, if I ask anyone, which industry, like on the copper belt, which is produced, we used to produce wheelbarrows in copper belt. Which industry today is producing a wheelbarrow in copper belt? Zero. We are importing a shovel in this country when we used to manufacture shovels then. What kind of people are we? We want again to sponsor our kids to go and do business courses? No. We need to educate, we need to build up this skills gap which is there. Today, all of you are building here, those who are building out there. You want somebody from Zimbabwe to come and do your job. Why? Start asking yourselves, why are we importing a labor such as having a plumber? You cannot find a qualified plumber in the country today. You cannot find a metal fabricator today in the country. All we have is welders. What kind of a country is this? At this time and age, we're supposed to be manufacturing trailers because then people are manufacturing trailers. Now, because people want to even to get the little money, we are spending into skills training, into other courses again. No. Let's be factual here. Yeah. We are not going to develop by having only the cream on top there. We need these layers in between. Yeah. We need to have a trade-tested personnel here. We need to have a craftsman here. We need to have a technologist here. Then we have an engineer there. The communication is going to be simple. We learn companies here. Is it you, the CEO, and your next in line is a officer? No, there are people in between. So for us to survive as a country, let's see to it that we sponsor our kids to do all the courses. We are not going to have a government or a country where we only have business graduates, only accountant graduates. It's not possible. Let's promote the blue-collar job as well. This is for, it's for the sake of our country to develop. We need to develop as a nation, and we're not going to go into courses where there's no production. Can we promote production courses? And please, Minister, it's my plea that let's not temper with the CDF man. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Water. Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, from the inception, I would like to say that I support this motion. And before I go further, Mr. Speaker, allow me also to welcome our guests that we have in the gallery, and just to encourage them that they are very welcome to come to do politics. And I'm sure most of them, they'll be...
Honorable Member, may you concentrate on your debate. You have a personal agenda.
Yes, yes.
May you proceed.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that I think this is a non-controversial motion. And the reason why I say so is that there is no need to misinterpret it what it did not say. The mover of the motion stated that 30% of the 20% that is allocated to skills should be for supporting those students or those candidates that would like to do diploma programs or degree programs that may not necessarily be TVETA accredited. Now, Mr. Speaker, what does this mean? It basically means that those that are being sponsored now can continue, but at the same time, we also introduce sponsorship to candidates that don't want to do TVETA accredited programs, that want to do other programs such as health sciences and other programs that may not be TVETA accredited. Now, Mr. Speaker, one person may argue that there is no need to introduce this sponsorship because the Higher Education Loans and Scholarships Board is already providing educational loans to candidates that want to go to universities. Mr. Speaker, the truth is, yes, the HELSIP provides those educational loans, but they don't meet the demand that is there in this country. They do not give each and every candidate that applies. Mr. Speaker, the other truth is that all of us here, or most of us here, members of Parliament, we have candidates that come to our offices when we are in our constituencies, even when we are here. They are always calling, Honorable, do we have space for sponsoring children that want to go to universities? And we are always telling them, no, the guidelines do not allow, Mr. Speaker. Now, here is a constituency where you have a candidate who has obtained 6 points. He applies at the Higher Education Loans and Scholarships Board, and maybe because he has not met certain things that they require, they are the technicalities and whatnot, they do not pick him. He goes back to the constituency where he's coming from, to that rural area. Say, in this particular case, I'll pick Chinsali. That person will be in the village, and he will not go anywhere. Now, you will come and say, can I just go and do tailoring? Now, you get the best brain in the constituency, you force a program that will not help much. So it is important that we can reserve just a few spaces, Mr. Speaker, just a few spaces for those special cases that we have in the constituencies. Mr. Speaker, all these constituencies, we have very intelligent pupils that have failed to make it to get a scholarship from the, or to get an education loan from the government. So now when they fail to get that education loan, honestly, we want a person with 6 points, we send him to go and do tailoring. Is that, no, it's a skill, yes, but look, it's a skill, yes, but for those that are intelligent, let us send them to go and do programs that can help them, that can help this country, and that can help all of us. It is here where the Minister of Health was explaining to this House, or was updating this House, that in this country, we only have, is it 4 or 5 radiologists? 7. About 7 radiologists, Mr. Speaker. This country, as big as it is, over 20 million people, we only have 7 radiologists. 7 radiologists. Now, tell me, would it be a bad thing? We say, okay, each constituency, can we sponsor someone to go and do medicine, and he should specialize in it? He should become a radiologist. What do we lose? Nothing. It is a good thing. It will not take away anything from what the government is trying to do. It will not take away anything from what the president and the government are trying to do, Mr. Speaker. So I think it is a non-controversial. It's a non-controversial motion, Mr. Speaker, which should not be shot down just for the sake of shooting it down because the person who has raised it is from is a member of the opposition. Because me, I can tell you for a fact, I have plenty of pupils in Chinsali that would like to acquire education support that do not get it. And Mr. Speaker, the ones that are affected by what I'm saying mostly, it is us who are coming from rural areas. Mr. Speaker, these people who are coming from urban areas, they are kind of advantaged. Sometimes when they advertise scholarships to go outside China, Egypt, Indonesia, and somewhere else, people here are quick to see the adverts. They know where to apply from. They quickly go. When they are accepted, they can access these things quickly. Now, people that are coming from Chinsali, when they advertise scholarships to go to China, a person lives in Shimuyinda in Chinsali, he will not get to see that scholarship. First of all, there is no internet. He will not get to see that the government has advertised. So, the only chance that they have is when we sit, for example, a CDF committee, and he applies, oh, I would like to do this and this program. Then we ask him, but why didn't you apply at the University of Zambia? No, when they advertised, I never saw the advert. No, when I sent the application, they told me that the application was not delivered. So those who are underprivileged and who are disadvantaged by so many factors, those are the ones that we are saying they can be taken care of by allowing them to apply for sponsorship to go and start programs of their choice, which are productive to them, to the country, and to all of us, that they can go and do at a university, so that they should not be stopped just because such a course is not TVETA accredited. Mr. Speaker, with these few remarks, I would like to thank you for having given me an opportunity to say a few things. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kawe Central.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me the opportunity to debate this motion. Mr. Speaker, on the onset, I would say I'm not in support of the motion for the reasons that I'll give below. Mr. Speaker, from what I'm hearing from the move of the motion and the seconder, it gives me much to desire that to do, whether they even sit in CDF meetings. Because, Mr. Speaker, us who sit in CDF meetings, you would feel it, the number of our children who apply for skills training. You find that sometimes you have got 5,000 applicants, such that even to select it becomes a problem. And the whole reason why the New Dawn government came up with that component of skills training and the bursary, there was a reason behind. One is because now there is a free education policy that we need to sponsor our children all the way those that go to secondary schools. And also there was a gap in between our children who are unable to go to school. Those that are just in the compounds. If you go in the compounds today, you will see that our children are just drinking beer. Our children are engaging themselves in drugs. Why? Because they have got nothing to do. They are fallen off school. Some of them were not taken to school. But this gap, the government needed to make sure that they are trained, they are giving them the skills that they need, so that they become meaningful, so that they help in economic development. Our member of Parliament from Nyimba told us that we have got a gap in terms of skills in Zambia. Indeed, we have the gap. I can cite an example that I had an experience where somebody degree or an engineer to set up to do a culvert was not unable to do that. But somebody who went for National Council for Construction was able to set a culvert, meaning that this cadre of people who are training skills, they are very, very important in terms of quality work that we do in terms of construction. So we don't need to disturb this component of CDF. Is very, very important. Maybe our colleagues are supporting that we leave out or we disadvantage these people that have not gone to school, that have fallen off, because they were using them as tools of violence when they were in government. So as the New Dawn government want to make sure these children are empowered, they have got something, they have got a livelihood for themselves. So we need to make sure that we take as many as possible, we wreck them out of the society where they just engage in drugs and alcohol, so that they have got a livelihood for themselves. So for me, indeed, as a mother, I wouldn't want to see children that are not empowered. We need to empower them, and this is very, very important. I was going to be happy if he said that maybe those people who are diploma holders, nurses and teachers, if you are pushing them to be considered under HOSB, then I was going to be, yes, maybe you are talking something which is practical. But for us to make sure that, again, we push them to CDF, we will make sure they are disadvantaging our children that have already disadvantaged, that would know nothing, that they're just in the compounds doing nothing. So this New Dawn government, indeed, they are for a policy of inclusivity. We want to make sure it's the equitable distribution of resources, even to those that are disadvantaged. So if we are trying again to remove these resources that is supposed to help them, then we're not doing them any justice. So to me, we'll be leaving them behind. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't have much to say, just to say that, indeed, let's leave the 20% for skills training. We want to make sure that we train as many as children who are just doing nothing in the compounds. Yes, if you want to push, and I know the New Dawn government, as the economy improves, they're going to consider even those diploma holders. Definitely they're going to do that. But we are on the verge of improving the economy. Then we will look at even those that are disadvantaged, like those diploma holders, teachers and nurses and other, skills that you want them to give them. But as at now, please, let's make sure that we leave it to the skills training. And maybe just to say that, constituencies are dynamic. He's saying that maybe in the rural areas, but in towns, we are different. We have got 5,000 applicants, but where do we take them? if we just throw them and then we disadvantage them. So we cannot apply what is applicable in the rural areas and in, in urban areas is totally different. So let's make sure that we have to make sure that we leave the 20% as it is. It is for a purpose, and I know that the New Dawn government is looking into even these other disciplines that can be sponsored in the near future as the economy improves. So, Mr. Speaker, I thought I should add the word that for me as a mother, in what is pertaining in terms of what we see our children in the compounds, that's still needed. Right now they are crying. We have sponsored somebody, many have been left behind. So if we disturb it for us, it will be really disadvantaging, especially in Kabwe Central constituency. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much.
The Honourable Member for Chipoma North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for according me this opportunity on behalf of Chipoma North constituents to add my voice on this very, very important motion. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I want to salute the hard-working Member of Parliament for Chilubi, Honorable Francis Fuwe, for moving this non-controversial motion. May I also salute the Honorable Gordon Mwela, Member of Parliament for Mufulira Central. Mr. Speaker, this is a non-controversial motion, and we want to make an earnest appeal to our colleagues on the other side that they should support this particular motion because it is in the interest of their people in their respective constituencies, especially us coming from rural areas. Mr. Speaker, I'm on record that somewhere in 2022, I moved a private member's motion here where I was urging the government to amend the CDF guideline so that they can provide, so that those guidelines can provide for constituencies to be able to sponsor students pursuing diploma and degree courses. Mr. Speaker, what Honorable Fuwe is saying is not saying that the government should get money from somewhere to sponsor these deserving students. No. What Honorable Fuwe is saying that 30% can be allocated to these vulnerable students who perform very, very well at grade 12, but are not able to obtain a scholarship under the Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board. Mr. Speaker, the demand for tertiary education has been on increase. I'll give, for example, the statistics, Mr. Speaker. During the 2025-2026 academic year, 5,798 applicants applied at the University of Zambia, and only 3,906 were picked, leaving a balance of 1,869. So you find that if you divide these in constituencies, maybe constituents may be only maybe 5 who really qualified, but because of certain conditions, they were unable to get these loans. And some of them could even have scored 7, 8 points. And Mr. Speaker, it's not very easy in rural areas for a child to get 6, 7, or 8 points compared to the students here in urban areas. So that's what Honorable Fuwe and Honorable Mwela are urging this government to consider. Mr. Speaker, long time ago, during the KK and UNIP government, it was easier for even rural students to access the University of Zambia because we were not, it was automatic. Once you write your grade 12 examination, I mean, there were 3 choices there: School of Natural Sciences, first choice, or School of Law, second choice. Then the School of Humanities, third choice. So after the results are out, then universities could admit students automatically, and those that letters used to be sent to various schools. So the rural students were not disadvantaged as compared to today. because of lack of internet, people don't have smartphones and so on. So that's why we are saying that if this provision is there, it will help the vulnerable students, Mr. Speaker, to access tertiary education. Yes, I'm alive to the fact that currently there's the Higher Education and Scholarship Board. But you find that this particular board is maybe giving priority to those who perform very well. For example, 6 points or 7 points. But, Mr. Speaker, sometimes you find that even people from the well-to-do families who have got 6 points or 7 points, they are able to obtain these loans, disadvantaging those in rural areas. So that's why we are saying that this should not be a controversial motion. We must be allowed to at least sponsor these students. For example, maybe they want to do teaching, they want to do nursing. Of course, there's going to be a criteria to say for you to qualify for that. You have to look at where this person is coming from and also in terms of performance. Because if someone has been left out from the university who had 7 or 8 points, definitely I feel that it will be very good for us to give that provision. Further, Mr. Speaker, skills development. Yes, skills development. Countries have developed because of skills development. But the challenging we are having, Mr. Speaker, at the moment is that now we have a mushrooming of these institutions, which are even accredited by the VETA. You find that a certificate course is costing 30,000. A certificate course is costing 30,000, 3 months training. Diploma courses, you find that in some institutions, 40, 50,000, they want to reap where they did not sow. And I do not think that universities are charging such exorbitant fees. That's why even last time I appealed to the government that let's protect these public resources because so many institutions have mushroomed where they want to reap where they did not sow. So the government must be able to regulate some of these fees. Definitely, you cannot charge 28,000 to train as a driver for 2 months. So if we are able to spend all those monies on certificate and diploma courses, surely, why can't we spare a 20,000, a 15,000 to sponsor a child who has acquired 8, 9 points and has not been able to access loans, bursary? So I feel that, Mr. Speaker, this is a non-controversial motion. I hope that our colleagues will think twice and support this particular motion, because I feel that, like what Honorable Mukosa said, we are always confronted by these students, parents coming to our offices, no, my son, my child got 8 points, but they can't find a place, no loan. So there are these challenges. Definitely, you cannot sponsor someone who has 7 points, then you go and say, no, you're going to do a certificate course. I think we are degrading the educational standard. So with these few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I fully support this motion. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development to respond.
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for the opportunity given to respond to the private member's motion. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, to thank the area member of Parliament for Chirubi, who brought the motion, which is on the floor of the House. Madam Speaker, sorry. Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank the head of state, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, who, even before forming government, was saying resources should go to the people. Yes, other people, including some of your members of Parliament, they said that was very, very impossible to raise such funds and take it to the respective constituencies. Here we are today, Mr. Speaker, talking about a great initiative or a developmental agenda of the new Donor administration, that is of taking resources closer to the people. Mr. Speaker, every government, when it's elected, it has what is on agenda, based on what it was campaigning on and telling the people. Our agenda, Mr. Speaker, is to make sure that each and every Zambian, each and every corner of the country gets a fair share of the resources. And this has been demonstrated today as your members of parliament, Mr. Speaker. Each member of parliament gets constituency development fund. Mr. Speaker, this constituency development arising from our agenda as new donor administration, it has guidelines, it has components that we deem fit to address. Among the components that we deem fit to address are those that were shared by my dear colleague, Honorable Menyan. He elaborated them very, very well. That's our agenda. There was a big gap, Mr. Speaker, where skill was not counted. A dropout was left without any future. The new donor administration said even a grade 7, even a grade 9 can have a skill to lean on and survive. And that is our agenda. Even a grade 12 drop out, he has life, he has a skill. What do? Let us share the resources equitably. And exactly that's the vision of the new donor administration. Mr. Speaker, if one thing that as members of parliament need to do is when we stand and talk about CDF, first thing is to thank the head of state, unlike trying to bring issues behind the back door. Let us accept to say the new donor administration under the able leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, it has delivered. The CDF that is going into all our constituencies, indeed it is working. Then we shall be saying, we shall be standing on firm ground. Mr. Speaker, the mover of the motion and the seconder lamentably failed to tell us as members of parliament how they arrived at 30%. We needed to know. We really needed to know on how they arrived at 30%. We needed to know. But since they lamentably failed, how do we support? How do we support? How do we support, Mr. Speaker?
No basis.
There is no basis even from their motion because they lamentably failed. I attentively listened. There was nothing that they showed to say they arrived at 30% because of such a reason. But they lamentably failed. We are aware that the new donor administration, Mr. Speaker, under Minister of Education, there is loan component. Under Minister of Youth, there is also a loan component for our youth to lean on and get the much needed qualification. Even under community development, as well as technology and science. So resources are not only at Ministry of Local Government. Resources to help our youth are dotted in several ministries. So the dropouts, they are also Zambians. They need to have a fair share. We are not going to look down on them, no. The agenda of the new donor administration is to industrialize, open a lot of minds, and that's what we have seen. Some of us privileged, Mr. Speaker, to be near the mines. We not say a skill is needed in the mine. A skill. Very, very much needed because those are the people who drive the mines to production. So why should we be? And when you look at even the CDF company that we are talking about, compared to the resources that at Minister of Education, Minister of Sports, Minister of Community Development, Minister of Science and Technology, those resources meant to benefit our youth, they are in quantums compared to the CDF that we're talking about. As Zambians, let us be fair to each other. Let us be fair to our youth. Those who are doing very well, those who want to go to the universities, those
those ones who are acquired diplomas, degrees, which are not skill-related. Resources are there, not only at means of local government. Resources are there at means of education. Resources are there at means of community development. Resources are there at means of youth and sport. Resources are there at means of science and technology. Even in labor, the resources are there. The new Dawn government wants each and every, no one should be left behind to say, because you are grade 12, so you are grade 12 or 11, 12, 10, 7 dropout, you are not worth living. That's not our wish. That's not our desire. So, therefore, Mr. Speaker, we do not support this motion. Thank you so much.
The Honourable Member for Chilubi, wind-up debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Nibemba we say ushiru ilomtembo wa munankwe no wakwe upokwa. Literally meaning, Mr. Speaker, that those who do not fight for others, even their portion is gone. Mr. Speaker, I am trained to speak for preferential option for the poor. And in this period, Mr. Speaker, I will try by all means to restrain myself not to fall for temptations, because I'm a Catholic and I'm in Lent. Otherwise, I would like to state that there have been a lot of temptations that I would have excised myself on. But being the period, I will ignore. Mr. Speaker, I never said that we need to look for more resources to pump in there. I never said that we will drop the grade 7, grade 9, and grade 12 dropouts. Mr. Speaker, I never said that we should abandon. Mr. Speaker, can I be protected? Yes. Mr. Speaker, I never said that we should not obey the guidelines. Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to the conscience of those members of Parliament. I know that there is behavior of where you find CDF in this side is being implemented in a different way. The other side is being implemented in a different way. But I am a law-abiding citizen who is going to follow CDF guidelines religiously. I will not, because of belonging to a particular political party, venture into putting a diploma student on when the CDF guidelines forbid. That I will not do, even at a gunpoint. Mr. Speaker, what I was proposing, I am shocked that government has reacted in this manner when I was actually supporting his policy. This nature of personalizing government programs is very dangerous. One day, that one who is saying, can you please conclude, you belong here, and mark my words, you will belong here. And soon, you will belong here. And maybe you will not even have capacity to raise a motion. At least I have capacity to raise a motion. When it comes to connecting into a template that is talking about this, Mr. Speaker, what I was saying, if you are God, it will be my last term. But if you are not, I'll come back. Mr. Speaker, what I'm trying to talk about is in Section 36 and Section 37 of the Local Government Act, where the Ward Development Committee has the powers of identifying, and they are closer to this poor youth. They identify this poor youth, they bring to the CDF committee, then they sit over that, then this poor youth goes to college or goes to university. That is what I was talking about. I was not talking about what Karatanzi believe in. I was very clear about what I am talking about. Mr. Speaker, I want to emphasize that the 30% was penetrative approach When you go to beg, you don't go and ask a 50%. You go and ask for a percentage, and that 20%, 30% was appearing to the 20% that is already allocated to the secondary bursaries as well as to the skills. It is in there, Mr. Speaker, that the people of Chilubi wanted to get a 30%. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, before this was increased, Chilubi was getting 1.6. Out of that number, we used to get 200,000 kwacha and give a nursing school for vulnerable children in Chilubi. And they used to benefit from that particular money. Mr. Speaker, I have done my part as a responsible member of Parliament. I have done my part as a citizen. It is up to them. If they are given a penalty and they shoot overboard, it is not my problem. I know that there is political grandstanding here. I have done my part.
Order.
I rest my case, Mr.
Thank
Speaker.
you. Thank you, Honorable Member for Chilubi. I put the question. The question is that this House urges government to allocate 30% of the Constituency Development Fund to sponsor vulnerable students who wish to undertake diploma and degree courses. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary, say no. The noes have it. The question is in negative. The clerk will now read the orders of the day.
The Banking and Financial Services Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2025, second reading.
The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that the bill be now read a second time.
The question is that the bill be read the second time. Any debate? The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is my pleasure to present the policy statement in support of the Banking and Financial Services Bill, number 36 of 2025. This bill is a demonstration of this government's commitment to cultivating a robust, inclusive, and resilient financial sector that protects consumers and supports a sustainable economic growth. The rationale of the bill. The current regulatory framework governing the financial sector, namely the Banking and Financial Services Act, was enacted in 2017. Over the years, we have noted a significant change in global financial landscape. For example, we have noted rapid technological innovation, the rise of cyber threats, and the increasing speed with which global financial challenges can be transmitted across borders. These developments have naturally revealed weaknesses in the current legal framework. This bill is therefore expected to address the weaknesses observed and improve the financial environment by aligning to international standards. Further, the bill strengthens consumer protection and provides a clear resolution framework which provides the process of restructuring or winding up a critically distressed bank or financial institution with minimum disruption to the sector. Mr. Speaker, we are also cognizant of the emerging issues related to money laundering and terrorism financing in the financial sector. Therefore, the bill also seeks to introduce supervisory oversight for anti-money laundering, countering the financing of terrorism, and proliferation financing of financial service. To safeguard, Mr. Speaker, the bill outlines, in terms of objectives, it outlines several objectives in the attainment of the reform agenda that I've just alluded to. I wish to highlight that as part of the objectives, the bill seeks to repeal and replace the Banking and Financial Services Act number 387 and the Money Lenders Act Cap 398 in order to resolve legal inconsistencies. Ultimately, the bill will bring the regulation of money lenders under the Bank of Zambia. In conclusion, I'm confident that the bill will mark a pivotal step in Zambia's financial sector reform agenda aimed at modernizing the financial sector. This is in line with developments in the financial technology, innovation, and cybersecurity. Furthermore, the bill will promote the integration of sound environmental, social, and governance practices among financial service providers, thereby enhancing their resilience to internal and external shocks and fostering long-term financial stability. Mr. Speaker, I urge the honorable members of the House to support this bill. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Any further debate? The Vice Chairperson of the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters was tasked to scrutinize the Banking and Financial Services Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2025, pursuant to its mandate as set out in Standing Orders number 207J of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024. Mr. Speaker, the committee is in support of the bill. This notwithstanding, some stakeholders raised concerns on which the committee makes the following observations and recommendations. Mr. Speaker, the committee observes that Clause 80 or 80 of the bill limits how banks and financial institutions may create grant or permit security interests over their assets. The committee is of the view that the clause creates significant challenge and does not adequately safeguard the interest of institutional investors such as the National Pension Scheme Authority, NAPSA, and the Public Service Pension Fund, PSPF, who are lenders of money to banks and financial institutions. The committee therefore recommends that the clause be recast to remove restriction on banks or financial institutions to pledge collateral in exchange for deposits placed with them. Mr. Speaker, the committee observed with concern that Clause 102 of the bill empowers the Bank of Zambia to regulate and supervise financial service providers on matters relating to financial consumer protection and market conduct. This is a function which is performed by the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission as provided in the Competition and Consumer Protection Act number 24 of 2010. In view of this, the committee recommends that the clause be amended to restrict the bank from performing the functions which is a mandate of the CCCPC. The committee observed that while Clause 122 provides for confidentiality of information obtained in the provision of a financial service to a consumer by the financial service provider, the introduction of open finance under Clause 123 of the bill which allows the sharing of customer financial data between institutions, contradicts the Data Protection Act number 3 of 2021. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, the committee recommends that the bill should clearly specify circumstances under which open financing will require customer information to be shared. The committee also recommends that consent must be sought from customers except during investigations for cybercrime. Mr. Speaker, the committee also observes that while Clause 124 provides for enhanced protection of customers as well as mechanisms for channeling consumer complaints, it recommends that in addition to the proposed measures, a digital complaints management system should be established as a formal channel for feedback and complaints to empower consumers to hold service providers accountable and ensure a higher standard of public service delivery. Mr. Speaker, the committee further observes that the provision of Clause 184, which seeks to regulate lending interest rates that a financial service provider shall charge consumers as determined by the bank, is not ideal. The committee is of the view that banks should be allowed to charge risk-based margins. Mr. Speaker, it is feared that banks might stop lending in certain segments or industries if the rate set by the Bank of Zambia is too low to mitigate the risk. Mr. Speaker, the committee therefore recommends that this provision be removed or should further provide for the bank to regulate interest rates by giving reasonable time to the banks to adjust. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, and on behalf of the committee members, I wish to express our deepest gratitude to you and the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly for the guidance and support rendered to the committee throughout its deliberations. The committee is further indebted to all the witnesses who appeared before it for their cooperation in providing the necessary briefs. Mr. Speaker, I thank you and I beg to move.
Thank you. The Honourable Minister of Finance to wind up debate.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the deliberation so far, and indeed I want to thank the committee for the various comments that they've made, which we'll take note of and see whether we can make adjustments. Just to maybe make one comment on the consumer protective issue that the Vice Chairman spoke about. As you can understand, in these matters, there is no solid or hard boundary between one function and the next function. I think we see this in various areas. For example, in the control of traffic. What is important here is to mention that the issue has been recognized, and the Bank of Zambia, together with the authority that controls consumer protection, they have a memorandum of understanding that allows each to do its part without stepping on each other's feet. As I said once again, Mr. Speaker, I wish to thank the House for the support. Thank you.
I put the question. The question is that the bill be read the second time. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Let the bill be read the second time.
The Banking and Financial Services Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2025.
Committee stage to be taken when?
Committee stage, Mr. Speaker, to be taken, I believe, on Friday, 6th of March, 2026.
Committee stage to be taken on Friday, 6th of March. Next order.
The Agriculture Credits and Warehouse Receipts Bill, National Assembly Bill number 34 of 2025. Report stage.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the report of the committee be adopted.
As no notice order, as no notice has been received of any further amendment, it is your will that the report of the committee be adopted. Any objection? I see none. Report adopted. Day for third reading?
Tomorrow, Honorable Speaker.
Third reading of the bill to be taken tomorrow. Next order.
The Zambia Deposit Insurance Corporation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025. Report stage.
Thank you. As the time is 18:25 hours, I interrupt proceedings and debate stands adjourned. Day for resumption of debate.
Tomorrow, Mr. Speaker.
Debate to resume tomorrow. The acting leader of government business adjournment.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the House now adjourns.
As no notice of an item for debate on the motion of adjournment of the House has been received, I put a question. The question is that the House now adjourns. Any debate, any objection? The question is agreed to the House. Is now adjourned.
Good evening, you're tuned into Parliament Television. Business has come to a close. Be sure to join us tomorrow at 14:30 hours for resumption of business. It's that moment where we get to look at what has been considered on the floor of the House starting at 14:30 hours. Madam Speaker did make numerous announcements. She did recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Monique's Pre and Primary School in Lusaka District, students from Eden University in Lusaka District, pupils and teachers from African Vision of Hope Christian Secondary School in Chongwe District. And she did recognize the presence in the diplomatic gallery of delegates from the Swedish Embassy led by His Excellency the Ambassador Mr. Johan Hallenberg. And so on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam Speaker received the distinguished guests and warmly welcomed them to the National Assembly. In the other announcement, Madam Speaker stated that in 2023, the National Assembly of Zambia embarked on a process of establishing a parliamentary training institute. Subsequently, the Institute for Parliamentary Studies and Training, IPST, was born. The mandate of the institute is to provide training and capacity building programs to parliamentarians, staff and other interested stakeholders. Madam Speaker informed the House that the IPST will be officially launched on Monday, 16th March 2026. The event will take place in the auditorium here at the main Parliament buildings starting at 09 hours. All honourable members are urged to attend this significant milestone in parliamentary reforms. Madam Speaker also did receive a communication to the effect that in the absence of our Honour the Vice President, who is attending to other government business, the Minister of Finance and National Planning Honorable Dr. Stumbeko Musokotwane, MP, has been appointed acting leader of government business in the House from today, Wednesday, 4th March 2026, until further notice. And we did see, Madam Speaker, permitting two ministers to make some ministerial statements. The first one did come from the Minister of Water, Development and Sanitation on the water supply and sanitation interventions in Southern Province. The other ministerial statement did come from the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation on the evolving security situation in the Middle East and the welfare of Zambian nationals. And so the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation did say that in the light of the evolving security situation, government has activated and intensified inter-ministerial coordination mechanisms to comprehensively assess the situation, and all missions in the affected areas have been directed to update and confirm registers of Zambian nationals, maintain constant communication with Zambian communities, among many other interventions that the minister did highlight. And the House did consider two questions for oral answer understanding order number 80. Question 238 did come from Mr. Fuve of Chilubi constituency. He did ask the Minister of Transport and Logistics whether the government has any plans to purchase a cargo boat for Chilubi district, and in response the Minister of Transport and Logistics, Honorable Tahali, did say that the government has no immediate plans to purchase a cargo boat for Chilubi, but that government has devolved the functions to the local authority and Zampost for the purchase of the cargo boat. In the other part of the question, the Chilubi lawmaker wanted to find out the estimated cost of the boat, and the minister did say that the cost will be dependent on its specifications. And Mr. Fu wanted to find out which institution will be responsible for operating the boats, and the minister did say that Zampost will be responsible for the operations of the boats. In the other part of the question, question 239, came from Mr. Mukosa of Chinsali. He did ask the Minister of Tourism what measures the government is taking to promote Chipoma Falls in Chinsali district as a tourist site. The minister stated quite a number of measures, among them regular site inspections, and accessibility and visibility has been strengthened to guide tourists at the sites. We did see a private member's motion being moved by Mr. Fuve. It was seconded by Mufurila Member of Parliament, Mr. Gordon Miller, and was titled Allocate 30% of the Constituency Development Fund to sponsor vulnerable students who apply for diploma and degree courses, and this motion was negatived. Thereafter, there was consideration of some government bills. The first one was considered at second reading stage. That's the Banking and Financial Services Bill, National Assembly Bill number 36 of 2025. It was read the second time, and committee stage of this particular bill will take place this Friday, the 16th of March 2026. The other bill that was considered at report stage was the Agriculture Credits and Welfare Receipts Bill, National Assembly Bill number 34 of 2025, and the third reading of this particular bill will be taken tomorrow. The House at the time of adjournment was supposed to consider the Zambia Deposit Insurance Corporation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025. It was supposed to be considered at a report stage, but the House adjourned, and so debate on this particular bill stands adjourned. So that's the business that has been considered on the floor of the House today, Wednesday, 4th March 2026. I'd like to thank you for tuning into Parliament Television. Be sure to join us tomorrow at 14:30 hours for more proceedings. And of course, we have live committee sittings in the morning. From me, Claudette Sindazo Jonga, our two sign language interpreters, that's Chola Kauma, Jason Manda, and the entire production crew, technical crew, I would like to thank you for your time. Good night. Do take care. Bye-bye.